Hi. So my name is Katy Dolan. I grew up in Washington State, and now I'm a freshman at Harvard University in Massachusetts. And really my nonprofit expertise comes from the organization that I founded when I was 15, which was 3 years ago now, called Let 'em Play. And what we do is make music accessible to low-income students by providing instruments and also teaching clinics. So based on that work, I was chosen to be a youth ambassador for the YSA and CAM partnership in 2013-14. And I currently serve on the Youth Advisory Council of the National Youth Leadership Council. So I continue to be sort of involved in these service issues. So basically how I go about basically the sustainability of my project, which I guess I should provide background to elaborate as to why I have any reason to be talking about sustainability. So as I said, I founded my project when I was 15 years old, and it's still very much thriving today. It has grown in many ways. We started out sort of very humbly, as you can see on the screen there in that picture. That was like our first presentation, which is a solid trifold display board that was handcrafted by me in my basement. And now we have actually 3 branches nationwide. First in Spokane, Washington, which was the original, also in Chapel Hill, North Carolina at UNC, and then here in Cambridge at Harvard. So I have some thoughts on sustainability. And really, I think the first step to sort of taking the next steps in your project is thorough reflection. And you can actually approach this in a very sort of elementary who, what, when, where, why sort of analysis. So first of all, when you're looking at your project, who was valuable on your team? And valuable traits to have in team members are, they can range greatly in terms of what you're looking for personally. But in my opinion, you definitely want people around you who will challenge you and not always agree with you. I think that's something that is very undervalued in sort of teamwork on projects today. You want people that will not just take everything you say as fact and will definitely say, Katie, I don't really agree with that, or I don't know, I think we could do it this way and it would be better. You also obviously want people who are very dedicated to your cause and who you can trust to sort of do all the tasks that they're assigned. And then innovation is also very important when you're looking at projects like this, and especially to sustain a project, you're going to constantly be having to come up with sort of new ideas, new ways to do things. So you want innovative people on your team as well. So to move on to the what question, you can attack what worked and what didn't in sort of a big and small sense. So did your project work in general? Did you raise your goal of money? Did you collect enough items? I mean, whatever your goal is, did you meet it? And how, if you did meet that goal, how did you do it? And if you didn't meet the goal, why do you think that is? So we often, after events, my team and I sit down and make just very long lists. And some of these things are very trivial, like I didn't like how the bowl was on the right side of the table versus the left in terms of collecting donations. Even small things like that are very important to look at as you sort of evolve your project to the next level. So then to move on to the when, and also sort of the where, you want to sort of analyze the conditions that you had when you initially did your project. So if we're talking global youth service projects, you'll be doing them in the month of April. And so did that work for you or not? Was that springtime good? Was it too close to spring break, which is, I know, a problem that some people occasionally encounter? And then where did you do it? Are you located in sort of a small town? Are you in a more urban area? Did you actually do your project like on a street corner, or did you do it in like the woods or something? And you want to look at whether that worked or not. Basically, some of that reflection is crucially important. And also you want to look at why. What was your motivation for doing the project in the first place? And sort of why will you keep doing the project in the future? So to move on to sort of how you then evolve your project, my team and I heavily believe in the power of the franchise model. So I think everyone's familiar with what a franchise is. You can think of, lots of things like McDonald's, it's a franchise. There's lots of different branches. So that's the way that my organization personally decided to branch out, through a franchise model. So we have 3 different sort of franchises. And basically, you improve your original project to create the franchise model, and that's through the reflection process that I just discussed. But then what's crucial to being able to sort of franchise your brand and your project is extensive planning and especially extensive documentation. And that mostly occurs through institutional memory. So to define institutional memory, I think it says basically a lot, just the definition that you can find on Google. So institutional memory is the collective set of facts, concepts, and experiences and know-how held by a group of people. However, as it transcends individuals, it requires ongoing transmission of these memories between members of the group. So in my team, we use Google Drive to sort of keep all of our documents together and create the really institutional memory so people can come back and follow our footsteps to replicate what we've done theoretically in more branches across the country. And then finally, I was asked to sort of provide the perspective of a student who had a project in high school and then transitioned to the college setting, which is what I've done in the last year. So just very briefly to talk through college, because I know it will be relevant to a few of you. College is a very valuable way to begin the franchising process because a few of you, I'm sure, will be leaving your current community to go to school, and so you'll have, therefore, a whole new community to bring your ideas and your project to. So that's basically how we started the franchise. So I go to this University of Massachusetts, so I brought it here, and then my partner goes to University of North Carolina, and that's why we now have a branch in Chapel Hill. And then it's really your choice whether or not to align with the university. My partner does, so our branch in Chapel Hill is actually sponsored by UNC and therefore receives funding through the school, whereas our branch in Cambridge is not funded through Harvard, so it doesn't receive any Harvard funding automatically. However, there is a whole new community of resources when you start a new branch with your college. There's lots of funding that can be provided to student nonprofits. There's usually some sort of innovation project through the college that sort of promotes these sort of projects and then wants to give you money for them. But at this point, just note that institutional memory becomes very important if you're wanting to sort of spread out, because you need to have all of your steps documented so people can follow them and basically replicate your project with hopefully a few more improvements and evolvements along the way. So that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much.